Well, don't say I didn't tell you so, but here we are. All of our politics are now headed to Russia. Let's get into it.
Poilievre!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend as we're heading back into another week of politics here on the channel. An important topic I wanted to discuss is one thing that I've often talked about in the last little bit as Tucker Carlson made his interview with Vladimir Putin. And of course, we've seen through Justin Trudeau's rebranding campaign to try and boost his liberal numbers, even though the writing's on the wall that his time is at an end. They seem to be focused on what we call MAGA politics, MAGA style politics. If you've paid any attention or have lived under a rock over the last decade or so and watched what happened with Donald Trump when he ran, and it was all about Russiagate and MAGA and how it's misogynistic and racist to talk about loving your country. Well, they've brought that into Canada, thinking that by labeling, God, here goes my dyslexia first thing, by labeling Pierre Poilievre as a right-wing extremist MAGA-style representative, that they can somehow get people to hate him and drop his rapidly rising polling numbers. Now, I said it last week that if you watch back as early as December, the word MAGA has been brought up numerous times in Parliament, and it's going to continue to be brought up. But now that Tucker Carlson has made his trip to Alberta, and the federal government has, of course, put their opinions outside about Danielle Smith, her newest regulations to stop children from mutilating their bodies, well, now they're going to use Tucker Carlson in his interview with Vladimir Putin, Russian president, to not only strengthen their campaign, but completely buy the farm when it comes to their chances of getting reelected. Now, do you guys remember back during the Freedom Convoy, CBC put out a story, and it went a little something like this?
I do ask that because, given Canada's support of Ukraine in this current crisis with Russia, I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
Well, again, I'm going to defer to our partners in the public safety, the trained officials and experts in that area.
So the Liberals love to blame anybody but themselves, right? Russia, 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 Russia. Now, last week, I did a video. I actually had to clip and edit it because a lot of people missed my joke when I said that Tucker Carlson sat down with President Putin, but also labeled him, I said president/dictator. This was, of course, a sarcastic joke pointing at the Liberals, who, of course, have labeled Vladimir Putin as such since his supposed invasion of the Ukraine. Now, as we go on, if you remember that clip, well, here's something funny. Here's the exact same reporter as that Freedom Convoy video. CBC journalist, if you can call her that, who claimed the Freedom Convoy was a Russian psyop, suggests Tucker Carlson's Putin interview was a collaborative effort by the Trump administration to interfere with America's 2024 election. Here we go. This is, right off the bat, again, paid actors, government shills, presstitutes, whatever you want to call them, that are taking the rhetoric and the indoctrination reports of the Liberal Party of Canada to sprinkle a little bit of their own, what I hate using the word of misinformation, to scare Canadian people. On February 11th of 2024, Rosemary Barton had Putin's former Prime Minister, Mikhail Kazyanov, I guess you could, if I'm pronouncing that right, on her show to discuss the Russian president's first interview with a North American media outlet since 2021. During the interview, Barton claimed Putin handpicked Tucker Carlson to do the interview because Carlson is a strong Donald Trump supporter and warned Russian ideology. So let's see what the old propaganda machine's churning up today, shall we?
Was Putin's first interview with an American outlet since 2021, and it comes, of course, 2 years into Russia's invasion of Ukraine. What do you make of the timing of the interview here?
Timing is very crucial for Mr. Putin. I am a little bit surprised
that I would say, quite known American journalist decided to provide some special media platform for Putin's propaganda. Yeah, that was exactly the interview was set up as Putin's propaganda, and he did it in his normal Putin's way.
Though, I mean, I think some people would question the choice of Tucker Carlson, who is not only a fierce supporter of Donald Trump, but has also been sort of warm to Russian ideology and to the things that Putin has said. Obviously, he chose Tucker Carlson for those reasons, I would imagine.
I agree. And in fact, just what Putin just described in this interview, that's exactly addressed to people who are supporting the funds of Mr. Carlson and people who are supporting just Donald Trump. Yeah. That's exactly the issue just built up in the presidential, I would say, race, which already have started.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing here is Rosemary Barton seems to just love Russia. She loves Russia. She goes to Russia every opportunity she gets. But the problem here isn't that it's just the CBC. We've talked before about last week on how tweets are starting to come out, how videos are starting to surface of people now calling out Tucker Carlson. They're doing the old 6 degrees of separation tactic. When we look at this ridiculous tweet, can we here in Alberta, Canada, just admit the Premier of Alberta is a danger to our province and our country? This happened within 2 weeks of each event. And of course, they've got a screen capture up here of Danielle Smith sitting down at her infamous interview with Tucker Carlson. And of course, Tucker sitting with Vladimir Putin. The problem here is this is a journalist. This is a journalist who's willing to sit down and hear all sides of the story, who's willing to be as unbiased as possible when getting facts. And what I'm struggling to understand is how so many Canadians that side with organizational outlets like the CBC can sit back and say that just because our premier sat down for an interview with a media personnel, all of a sudden means that we're at risk, or that we're or that she's, the next ruthless dictator to rise up and bury the people or commit mass genocide. I mean, here's the thing, folks. The world is not tailor fit to your preferences. Whether you like it or not, there's going to be times where we're happy with the outcome of things. There's going to be times where we're upset with the outcome of things, but that is something called life. You can't always have it your way. Unless, of course, I guess you go to Burger King. I think that's they're saying have it your way. Now, I bounced back and said, you're welcome to leave anytime if there's not enough tissues. But let's take a look at what the average person is saying. What danger would that be? It's hard terms. Be brief, concise, and specific using reason and evidence. Again, the Rational Post asking for proof of this because it's just somebody's opinion. I'm extremely happy with Danielle Smith, says another person. My husband was in the adjacent seat and I could see him fuming with rage. We were on a 12-hour flight with our kid. A stranger walks up to us. Hey, do you need the window seat? Mom, yes, we do. My toddler wants to see the clouds. Nods head no. Leans the seat toward my kid. Realizes what's happening. Please help. Either way, what it's about is people saying they're not going to cave because the man said no. And the people don't like that it's not what they want. It's not their opinion. Long story short, but it says, it sounds like you're putting out the message that's hyperbolically fearful. Tucker has the freedom to do what he wants. The two events have no correlation and or causation, and to say it does is a logical fallacy. Cancel culture is so 2019. Much butthurt I sense in you. Cry like a bitch you should. I mean, ratioed big time. Maybe it's time to wake up. It says, to my eye, it looks like Premier of Alberta is widely being viewed as someone significant in the world stage. This might even be correct. I mean, this is the problem, is that we're seeing this steady vocalization of people who just say, well, simply because I don't like that candidate, I'm going to smear them and I'm going to expect the world to dislike them just because of my woke preferences or ideologies. And much could be said on our side of the fence saying, well, we expect people to believe what we want to hear. The rationale at the end of the day, folks, and I've said it time and time again, is that we live in a world of free will. And people are allowed to do what they like. And sometimes you're going to like what they do. Sometimes you're not going to like what they do. but the most important thing that we can always remember is how to cope. And it comes across now that many Canadians don't have that ability, at least on the eastern side of the country, from what I can see. But Russiagate is here. Russia is here to stay in our politics by the looks of it. It's only going to ramp up from here, folks. Again, I said it last week. You're going to see more and more and more fingers pointing towards Russia now that this interview has come out, and look where we're at. We're entering the realm of U.S.-style dirty politics. Let me know what you guys think down below. I guess defund the CBC. Let me know your opinions. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. As you're clicking that button and turning on your bell for notifications, please join us here every Friday for our newest evening of live streams and Friday Night Fringe at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Central here on the channel. We're going to go over everything that took place this week, as well as everything going on in the realm of politics up until that point, as well as a bit of Q&A with the community. And I enjoy talking to you guys outside of making these videos. It's always great to see you guys in there. Our channel's been ramping up recently. We're averaging about 1,000 subs every 5 days. So make sure to click that sub button. Make sure to do all the usual YouTube stuff. Like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps us in the algorithm, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you on the next one.